Loveson, and welcome to the I Ching Cafe and our weekly overview. This week for the 12th of July 2021. Have you had the chance yet to go and have a look at the July overview? To go and have a look at this well that we are taking care of. Lots of interesting changing lines for us to pay attention to, and lots of questions around our leadership and who we group with and what's meaningful, what's purposeful to bind us to others. So go and have a look and check that out. So last week we had an interesting week. We were asked to make decisions, be proactive, go for the breakthrough, build in that energy, but also to recognize where our own stubbornness is the thing that's actually causing the pain and the injury, the obstacle, rather than an external force. And if we listen and we just hold back and we're patient and we don't bash ourselves and throw ourselves against the problem, we will know and understand that our stubbornness is the issue. And of course, recognizing that cycles come and go. We don't sow and reap in the same season. We put in the effort, and though we might not have seen the full realization of what we were trying to achieve in the breakthrough last week, trusting that the rains will come. Now, this week, I affirm those rains do come because our first hexagram for this week is hexagram 35, progress. That's the sun moving through the heavens, shining brightly. And so it's a wonderful hexagram of moving forward, of things being natural, of progressing, of the sun illuminating and shining brighter. It's a lovely, beautiful hexagram for us to work with. So I affirm whatever we pulled back from last week, where we saw our stubbornness, where we stopped pushing and we just accepted that things have their own time frame, this week we start to move forward and we start to make the progress that we didn't see last week. A wonderful hexagram for us to work with, to lean into, to move forward and to start getting somewhere. Okay, so whatever you felt stuck on last week, this week we're going to, I affirm, release that and move forward. Now we have only one changing line for this week in changing line position 2. And this changing line says we might feel like our progress is halted. Maybe it's a little bit of a carryover in the beginning of the week from last week. We feel our progress is halted. And in the I Ching, they talk about that the person that you need to connect with is not available. Okay, and there's a frustration of not being able to connect with the person that you need, the person who can help you make progress. Remember, this is symbols. It might not be an actual person, but it might be the resources that you need. So feeling like your progress is halted, feeling like the challenge is upon you, and what this changing line is asking us to do this week is to take on the challenge and persevere. Okay, just put one foot in front of the other. This hexagram this week is 35, progress. It is about making progress, and there's a little bit of a challenge here where it's a bit scratchy. But what we are asked to do is we are asked to persevere, to take on the challenge, keep on moving forward and trust the process. Because despite feeling disconnected and not having what you need and your progress halted, ta-da, the person that you actually needed actually connects with you and the whole process brings blessings. So what that tells us is, in a way, this is like a patience reverbed from last week. You know, the waiting hexagram, there's a kind of an energy here of just trusting the process in a different way, of putting one foot in front of the other, of making progress, of moving forward, trusting, persevering, and what you need comes to you. Okay, so this week, that changing line says, take on the challenge, it's okay. Persevere, it's okay. If you feel obstructed in some way, it's going to take care of itself. Different to last week, where it was our own stubbornness that was the problem. Okay, so if we worked hard last week, we're going to release this problem a lot quicker. This week, I affirm. Then, our outcome for the week is hexagram 64, before completion. So this is the last hexagram of the 64 set. We start the set with 1 and 2 being 1 the creative, 2 the receptive, the 2 creative hexagrams. And we finish the set with hexagram 63 and 64, which are the 2 completion hexagrams. And when these are complete, we go back to the beginning, the cycle of change flows again, and we start again. So this week we are completing something, but we are not yet at the summit of the mountain. We've got our stick, okay? We've got our tools to help us persevere, climbing up the mountain. And we're going to put one foot in front of the other and trust that the right guide or the Sherpa is going to come to join us when the time is right. And we're just going to keep persevering up that mountain slowly, slowly, slowly. And as we come up, we realize we're heading towards the summit. We are busy completing something. Something is closing off, a cycle of change, a project, a relationship, a partnership, whatever it might be, but something is closing, and it's an important closure cycle. The thing about the last few steps to the summit is that they're actually the most treacherous, because we might see the summit and think, oh, we're so close, and start picking up the pace, right? And being over energetic. And of course, if you're trying to summit Everest and you're trying to do that in the last few steps, you're going to kill yourself because you've got no oxygen. So it's that idea of just recognizing that last few steps, the completion process, is more important than the start process. Because when we start things, yes, it's good to start well, but you've got all the space to course correct. When we are finishing, we are getting to the apex, okay? We are getting to a point of closure. And so it's really important that we are diligent and we have all our attention about us. It's that last bit of any project where if we rush things or we kind of lose that tension that we have in doing something important, we can not get the full completion out of it. We can deliver the project, but not quite all the way that we could. Or we could just miss something pivotal in the last moment. So we're all completing something, not necessarily your whole life, but just perhaps an aspect this week that's coming to your attention. Whatever's on your list at the moment, that's a completion project or a completion task or the completion of a craft project or whatever it is that you are doing, it's the last few steps that are important. Put your care and your love and your focus into those last few steps and do them well. Don't rush in the last moment, because that's how we call upon a lot of challenge taking into the next cycle. So an interesting week. We are making progress. Both hexagrams, progress and before completion, are both about moving forward. Okay, we're rounding out something. Yes, we've got some slowness where we feel a little bit slowed down or hindered in some way. We don't have the right person or the right connection, but it comes. We just have to keep with those walking sticks and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. That is how we get to the end destination. Wishing you an amazing week of happy climbing, of happy hiking, and I look forward to seeing you soon at our next weekly overview. Take care.